What's up YouTube? Brad Browning here. Most of you guys probably already know who I am, and you know that my videos here on YouTube are all about breakups and getting back together with an ex. And today's video is probably going to stir up a bit of controversy because I'm going to explain in a second a few reasons why you should get back together with your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. See, I frequently see comments on my YouTube videos where people are saying stuff like, your ex is your ex for a reason, or oh my God, you should never get back together with your ex. Now, sometimes they're right. That is sometimes true. Some relationships just aren't worth saving. And occasionally, a person simply might have no chance of actually winning their ex back in the first place. Now, if you are actually worried about that, and that might be the case for you, you can find out by taking the free quiz tool that I've built to evaluate your chances of reviving the relationship. So if you want to take that quiz after watching this video, go to breakupbrad.com/quiz. So there are a few exceptions, but most of the time, breakups don't actually happen because two people are just fundamentally wrong for one another. Usually, and I'm sure many of you watching this video can relate, a relationship will begin perfectly. It'll be full of passion, the couple will be madly in love, share an intimate connection, and really just want to spend every waking moment together. But then gradually, over time, things start to slide downhill. But the key here is that most relationships were great in the early stages, right? I mean, you found a compatible partner, you fell in love, and you built a close connection. Now that doesn't happen easily or often. So you don't just fall in love with anyone, right? We've all been on terrible first dates and been in short-lived relationships that had no future. So developing an actual intimate bond with somebody, falling in love, that's actually really a relatively rare thing. Most relationships, or flings really, are going to fizzle out long before they get to that more serious stage. I mean, if finding a soulmate was so easy and you were compatible with just about anyone in the opposite sex, then we'd probably all be married to the person we went on our first date with, right? So, if in that world, nobody would be single for more than a week or two after a breakup. But my point here, I think, is pretty clear. You had a great relationship with your ex at some point in the past, right? So you know that you're compatible and that you have the ability to love one another. But somewhere along the way, things unraveled, right? And the relationship went downhill. So what if you realized, what went wrong and you knew how to avoid it next time? I mean, if you and your ex were to get a second chance at love, a fresh start from scratch, and this time you could get it right the first time around, then why couldn't the relationship stay healthy and lead to a happy lifetime together? And so that's why I think it's really dumb to say, you broke up for a reason. I mean, that may be true, but most of the time it's not actually a good reason. Jealousy, infidelity, neediness, physical distance, culture, disapproving family or friends. There's a ton of reasons and things that can kill a great relationship that don't really qualify as good reasons for ending the relationship. Sometimes a breakup can even be caused by a simple misunderstanding or a false rumor. And none of those things are really good reasons to not get back together with someone who you happen to know you're already really totally compatible with because you've already had a past history and a happy relationship in the past. Now, of course, you can't just go back to the relationship the way it was right before the breakup, right? You don't want to jump back into the same situation only to find yourself heartbroken all over again when you get dumped again in a few months' time. But if you can start fresh, if you can bring back that spark that you had early in the relationship and avoid making the same mistakes again, then you've got a really good shot at living happily ever after and rebuilding a healthy relationship. And of course, if you don't try, if you don't put in the effort, who knows how long it'll take before you find somebody who's equally compatible and right for you. Now, like I said, a fresh start with your ex is key to rebuilding a healthy and lasting relationship the next time around. And I've actually developed my X Factor program specifically with this in mind, because the process of building a new healthy relationship begins right now, long before you're even back together with your ex. My program basically teaches you how to reset your ex's emotions and their feelings towards you, which basically just lets you start with a clean slate and leaves the baggage of your old failed relationship in the past where it belongs. Now, of course, if you are trying to win back your ex and you want to get back together and you don't want to find yourself in the same spot, heartbroken, a few months down the road, head over to my website, breakupbrad.com, and watch the full video. You'll learn a lot of free psychological tactics, and you're also going to get some information about my X Factor program, which is basically a step-by-step guide. And I offer a 100% money-back guarantee, so there's zero risk to you. Basically, it's just going to walk you through the process of winning back your ex and make sure that you have the best possible chance of success. Even if you don't want to sign up for the program, like I said, the free video on my site, it shares some key mistakes that you need to avoid making if you do want to get your ex back, as well as some, like I mentioned, sneaky tips that you can start using right now on your ex to sort of put yourself in a better situation and start to rebuild a healthy future together. Now again, if you want to watch this video, breakupbrad.com is where you need to go, and you just need to choose your gender, male or female, and then you can watch the whole presentation for free. So before we wrap this up, let's just quickly talk about some of the scenarios where getting your ex back may not actually be a good option. The first is basically if you never really built a real connection with your ex, if the relationship never actually felt right, or if there wasn't that romantic spark. Basically, if you just didn't have much of a relationship to begin with, then obviously there's no sense trying to win back your ex. And of course, if your ex was physically, emotionally, or verbally abusive, duh, right? I mean, if your ex was violent or just simply treated you like garbage, then you need to walk away and don't give it a second thought. Another reason to not put in the effort to win back your ex is if they've cheated on you multiple times and they appear to have no real regret or no, they're not really willing to put in the effort to change and to not do that again in the future. Most of the time, cheating is just a stupid mistake that people only make once, and that probably shouldn't stop you from at least thinking about getting back together with him or her. But there are, a small group of people out there in this world who basically just can't remain faithful, and you're just setting yourself up for future heartache if you get back together with an ex like that, the kind of ex that's going to be a serial cheater or have constant infidelity issues in the future relationship. Another reason not to try to get back together is if there's no realistic way to make the relationship work in the long term. See, I've worked with some clients who live across the world from their partner, and long distance relationships are perfectly fine for a while, but there needs to be a point where you're going to be able to physically live in the same place together at the same time. And basically just relationship can't be long distance forever. So if it seems highly unlikely that you'll ever be able to realistically permanently live together, then you really need to think long and hard about whether you want to jump back into that kind of scenario or that kind of relationship. And if this is the billionth time that you and your ex have broken up, I mean, you probably know the kind of couples that I'm talking about who just constantly break up, get back together. Now, sometimes you might be able to break that cycle by employing some of the techniques that I mentioned above and in my program to get a fresh start and to rebuild a real relationship that doesn't have all those problems. But if you keep going through the same cycle with your ex, breaking up, getting back together, consider whether you really ever actually had the kind of connection that's worth trying to put in the effort to rebuild. Another really good way to figure out whether you should try to get your ex back is if you miss your relationship but not your ex. So this is a great way to gauge, to determine basically whether you should get back together. If you're experiencing loneliness and heartache, ask yourself whether it's because you miss your ex, your ex's personality, their appearance, their sense of humor, all the little things that he or she did that no one else does, or whether you simply miss actually just having a significant other in your life and as part of your life, having a partner basically. And you can use my free quiz tool to help you decide which is actually the case in your situation. After the video, just go to breakupbrad.com/quiz and answer the questions. It only takes about 5 minutes to complete, and then you'll see your score and have a good idea as to whether or not you really should be trying to get back together with your ex. Okay, now those are all valid reasons, like I said, why you may not want to get back together with your ex. But I hope you've at least realized that there's often some very good reasons why you should take your ex back. So if you're certain that your ex is right for you, if you're lost without him or her in your life, then don't listen to the haters who tell you it's meant to be or breakups happen for a reason. You're the only one who can really make that decision. And you don't want to live the rest of your life wondering what if? What if you'd put in the effort to try to get them back? And if you want help winning back that ex, starting a new, healthier relationship, starting from scratch, go ahead and visit my website, breakupbrad.com, and you'll get all the tools and the information that you need to give yourself the best possible chance of getting back together. Okay, that is about it for this one, guys. Hope you found it useful, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your support, your likes, your subscribes, and especially your comments below the video. Keep them coming. I'll keep putting out free new videos just like this one. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.